Hi everyone, welcome back to more political chatter. In this video, we're going to be briefly looking at the 2022 U.S. Senate elections as of today. What is it today? February 9th? February 9th, 2022. So, let's get right into this. Why is my computer so dark? Anyway, so 2022, the national environment will be pretty bad for the Democratic Party. We all know that, and that's solely because Joe Biden is unpopular. The majority of Americans do not approve of the job that he's doing. He's hovered around the 41, 42, 43% approval rating mark. So, let's see how this plays out. California, I don't see going anywhere. Their senator will be reelected along in the state of Washington. These will be solid states. Hawaii, we'll get to Maryland in a second. But Connecticut, Richard Blumenthal is the senator from there. I don't see him having much trouble. New York, I'm not sure whether or not Kirsten Gillibrand or Chuck Schumer is running for re-election, but without a doubt, these two states are they're voting for Schumer or Gillibrand. It really doesn't matter who. The state of Vermont, Patrick Leahy has just retired. Longtime senator, the oldest senator in the Senate. So he has just retired, and this is an extremely Democratic state, but really his retirement doesn't mean much because a Democrat will be elected with Bernie Sanders in the state of Vermont. Let's go to, Let's go to some Republican states. States like Utah, I believe Mitt Romney is running for re-election there. I could be wrong, though. Excuse me if I'm wrong. Will be safe. Idaho will be safe. North and South Dakota will be safe. Oklahoma will be safe. Kansas will be safe. Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri will be safe. Alabama, sure, they elected Doug Jones in 2017. But it really doesn't matter. States like Alabama will turn safe once again. I mean, if they have popular incumbents. Moving on, though. So I do think that, these would be the solid states for the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. So that puts the Democrats at 42 seats and the Republicans at 40 seats. And, of course, the Senate split they have 100 seats in the Senate, one for each state. So you know how it plays out. Kentucky, I see going safe. Red, sorry about that. And then states like Indiana, I think would also go safe red. And then in South Carolina, we've got Lindsey Graham down there. A very, he's a high-ranking Republican. He might not be the most popular, but if you're a high-ranking Republican or Democrat like Chuck Schumer, he's not necessarily that popular. Or Mitch McConnell isn't popular at all. But Mitch McConnell is reelected every single year that he runs. And I think the same would go for Lindsey Graham. I think he's going to win in the state of South Carolina. If he's even running for re-election in that year. I don't really know. Moving down to Alaska. Alaska's pretty interesting because Lisa Murkowski, the incumbent Republican, is facing a strong opposition from another Republican. But either way, when you think about it, it's going to be Republican. So this has no shot at going Democratic unless the strong Republican, I forget what his name is, runs independent. I really don't think he will, though. But Alaska, I think that with Murkowski, I do think that Murkowski would win the nomination. And I think that if she does win, I think if the Republican challenger wins the nomination, then he would win it by a solid margin. But with Murkowski as the nominee, I would say Alaska would be likely at this point in time. I will give Alaska likely to the Republican Party. I don't see the Democrats doing bad in the state of Illinois. I think it would go solidly to them. Oregon, on the other hand, just because of Biden's unpopularity, I think it has a shot at going likely for them. And we have tied race right now, 44-44. Moving down to the state of Florida, this will be a likely state for the Republican Party. If not solid, really. Marco Rubio is running for a third term, I believe, in the Senate. He is extremely popular among the Republican Party. And with Biden unpopular and Florida becoming redder and redder, I don't see us having much of a competition down in the state of Florida. I think it will go to the Republican Party. Moving up north to Georgia, though, just a bit up north, Raphael Warnock is running for a second term. And the question is, will he or will he not win re-election. It really is pretty hard to say. But I mean, I still see African Americans turning out for him. I really see African Americans turning out for him. And additionally, Atlanta and metropolitan areas, especially Atlanta, they are becoming more and more populated, which means that there are more Democratic voters. You might disagree with me, and I'm not just being biased here or anything. I mean, I'm an independent. I'm not just being biased. I think that Stacey Abrams will lose the governor's election here. But I'm going to give Georgia to Raphael Warnock, especially saying that incumbents usually have a history of being reelected, whether it be the Senate, the House, or the presidency. Going to North Carolina, Richard Burr, the senator, the 3-term senator from North Carolina who was a Republican, is term limited. And I actually have the Wikipedia page up so we can see the candidates. So on the Democratic side, this is the Republican side, we've got 3 major candidates. Former Governor Pat McCrory, who, let's go to polling though. Actually McCrory has dropped a bit along with Bud. But I mean, I really see McCrory being a former governor of the state. I definitely see him winning the nomination. I don't really see there being much of a competition, even though Ted Budd does seem to be polling well. And then on the Democratic side, we have Cherry Beasley, who is a former North Carolina Supreme Court justice, and she has, gotten many endorsements like Houston Gillibrand, Cory Booker, Roy Cooper, all these other people. But North Carolina, do I see it going blue? No, I don't. Saying that Hillary lost it in 2016, saying that Biden lost it in 2020, and saying that they have a Republican-controlled kind of legislator and the Senate, not the governorship, but the Senate. The Republicans control the state of North Carolina, except when it comes to the governorship. I think North Carolina will be lean Republican. Moving on to Colorado, though, we have Michael Bennet running for a, second or third term? I think it's actually a third term. Michael Bennet is extremely popular. He's one of the most popular Democrats. The Democratic Party really does love him, and independents love him. He's really loved in his home state of Colorado. I see Michael Bennet doing very well. I think he's going to win by a likely margin. I don't think that we're going to see any major competition in the state of Colorado. Moving on to Arizona. Let's see Mark Kelly is running for a second term in the state of Arizona. On the Republican side, there is a this is right. There is a very nasty field here. There is someone named Bronovich, the Attorney General, who does seem to be leading in the polls. And just according to polls, I do think that Bronovich will be able to win the election. Win the nomination. We'll get to the general election. And then on the Democratic side, Mark Kelly is running for re-election. Honestly, I think that this really divided Republican field will hurt him. Because a good candidate, they're going to be able to be up here, where my mouse is. During their primary, they're going to be very popular. They're going to have the support that they need in their own party. But Bronovich doesn't have that. Plus, Mark Kelly is a very popular governor. Senator. Arizona is becoming more Democratic. He will get that Latino vote out again. Even though Biden is unpopular, I think that Mark Kelly will be able to win by a tilt margin. I think that he might just be able to hang on to his state. Going to Nevada. Let's go to Nevada here. Catherine Cortez Masto is running for a second term. I think that Masto will be able to win this election. I really do. According to polls, the latest poll shows her up by 9 percentage points, and that was very recent, January 19th through the 26th. Then the one where it showed Laxalt in the lead, Adam Laxalt in the lead was in November of 2021, which showed him up by 3 points and 4 points, and then so really these polls are in favor of Masto's column. However, Cook, Inside Elections, Sabatos, and RCP all make it toss-up. This is a very tough state for me. But we do have to remember this. Masto is not a hated governor. She is a fairly moderate governor, and people really don't mind her that much. I think that, saying Nevada went to Hillary and Biden by the same amount, 2.4%, in 2016 and 2020, I'll give Nevada to the Democratic Party. Like, I'm sorry if you think I'm being very biased right now, but I really think that they will be able to win here. Then going to states like Iowa, where we have Chuck Grassley running for re-election. Really no competition here. Likely Republican. Ohio, become more Republican. No shot here. And then Wisconsin, where we do have Ron Johnson running for re-election. Ron Johnson is a very popular senator here. He is popular among the Republican Party. And I see him winning re-election here. I see it being likely at this point in time. Really, Ron Johnson is a popular senator, and I think that state of Wisconsin would just go to him by a bit over 5%. Moving on to Maryland. Now, Maryland, I waited a bit on because Larry Hogan might run for governor, but ultimately, I don't think he will. I really don't. And therefore, the Democratic Party will be able to win the state of Maryland by a solid margin. Going up to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania. I mean, it really is hard to say because I'm just trying not to be biased here, and I'm really not. I'm trying, but anyway, Dr. Oz. Of course, people are really interested in the Senate election because Dr. Oz is running. Dr. Oz, he's leading in polls. He is. There's a bunch of undecided voters, but he is leading in polls. And when you look at time of the announced his candidacy, he has just risen. While all the other candidates have not. They're not exciting. Besides other, So, Sean Parnell should have stayed in the race. He would have beaten Oz, probably. But, Dr. Oz... The thing is, I do not believe we have an incumbent on the Democratic side, do we? No, but we have John Fetterman running. And John Fetterman is a pretty popular lieutenant general. I do think that Fetterman would, look at the polls. He's leading in polls by a lot. I think that Fetterman will be able to win the nomination. And, I'm going to change some of my callings before. This is actually going to be, edited, but I think that the Democrats will be able to win Pennsylvania by a tilt margin because I don't see Dr. Oz doing well. Then Maggie Hassan in the state of New Hampshire, I think that she would win by a lean margin there. The Democrats are polling extremely well in the state of New Hampshire, much more than expected. And Maggie Hassan is a popular senator, and she is a moderate senator, and she could win people from both sides. I'm going to change some of my calling, saying that the Democrats have picked up a seat. That cannot happen. The state of Arizona, I'm going to slightly change to the tilt Republican column. I'm going to change my calling here. I'm going to say that I was really uncertain. Looking back, I really think that in the state of Arizona, Mark Kelly will narrowly lose re-election because he will lose a lot of Democrats. He really will. And moving down to Georgia, I'm going to move this into the tilt Republican column. We don't have a super strong Republican opponent. However, Biden is very unpopular. We have to remember that Biden is very, very, very unpopular. And he African Americans won the nomination, but he hasn't really paid them back, many feel. And that will hurt any candidate in the state of Georgia. And African Americans, without Trump running, they won't turn out as much for him. Without Trump in the national spotlight, they won't turn out for him anymore as much. So this is my final map. I'm sorry I changed it up. The Republicans pick up a seat and get the majority with 51 seats to the Democrats' 49. Sorry for the switch up, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time.